Alrighty guys, we're back for some Stronghold Vampires, and this is a Phyrexia all will be one standard brew. We're going to go over the deck then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so hope that sounds fun to you. Also, we do got that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Okay, what do we got in the build here? First of all, this was a Discord challenge to try to get Stronghold Arena to actually be good. So we'll see. We'll find out together if I succeeded in the challenge or not. So Stronghold Arena is a 2-mana enchantment with a kicker for green and a kicker for white. When Stronghold Arena enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life for each time it was kicked. So potentially a 4-mana enchantment that gains you 6 life. Okay. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. Okay, so that's pretty decent, but first of all, we actually have to have creatures hitting the face. So we got a bunch of flyers packed in here. Looking at Swooping Lookout here, mainly because it's also an artifact creature, but a 2-1, or I'm sorry, a 1-2 Flying Vigilance 1-drop is actually not half bad, honestly. So we have a couple Gift of Fangs to match the vampire theme. It also acts as a little bit of early removal, which is really cool. So enchanted creature gets +2/+2 as long as it's a vampire. Otherwise, it gets -2/-2. Nice. So we have 4 Okiba Reckoner raids in here. Just a solid way to drain the opponent's life total, and then having the road captain on the board gives our vehicles menace, which is really good because we also have a single Bankbuster in here as well. Also because it's an artifact, and by the way, Reckoner Raid is also in here because it's an enchantment, which is going to be important. So I have 3 Vraans in here as well. This is a new vampire from the new set. It's a 2-mana 2/2 legendary creature. Whenever one or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. It's honestly not half bad, guys. Like when we played with this last time, it just had solid value overall. So hopefully it does the thing today as well. We have 4 Voldaren Bloodcasters. This is a 2-mana 2/1 flying creature. Like I said, being able to fly in while Stronghold Arena is on the board is going to be excellent. So whenever Voldaren Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. Whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform Voldaren Bloodcaster, and it transforms into Bloodbat Summoner, which is a 3/3 flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste in addition to its other types. So we've actually been able to flip flip the Bloodcaster into the Bloodbat Summoner at least once on a video. This would have been a very long time ago, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure we were able to flip this before, and it's actually pretty solid overall. We also have a Ghoulish Procession in here as well. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever one or more non-token creatures die, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. This ability triggers only once each turn. So this is going to pair really well with the Vraan. And then also our creatures are dying left and right anyways because of all the removal packed into standard. So why not? Why not? And again, it's an enchantment, which is going to be important in here. We have a couple Falkenrath Forebearers. This is a 3-mana vampire. It's a 3/1 flying and it can't block. Whenever Falkenrath Forebearer deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. Nice. And then for a single black mana, you can sacrifice 2 blood tokens to return Falkenrath Forebearer from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not half bad, guys. So we have 3 Tatsunari Toad Riders. This is a 3-mana 3/3 legendary creature. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't control a creature named Kaimi, create Kaimi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize, guys. A legendary 3/3 black and green frog creature token with whenever you cast a enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Nice. And then for 1 and a green or a blue, but in this deck, a green. So for 1 and a green, Tatsunari Toad Rider and target frog you control can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with flying or reach. So just another way, it gives your frogs leap, right? Just another way to hit your opponent's face for the Stronghold Arena to actually go off and draw you extra cards, as well as just working with the enchantment theme in here as well. Got a single Braids. It works well with Bran, listen to me. Works well with Vraan, and it works well with things like Falkenrath, where we can bring this back from the grave. It works well with Bloodcaster if we're getting rid of our own creatures, you know. Braids is a pretty good one, but only a one-of. It is a legendary creature, and that's not the entire theme of the deck. Like, we're not supposed to just be sacrificing anything. Another cool thing we can do with this is actually if we have, like, Gift of Fangs on the board on one of our vampires, we can always get rid of that as an enchantment for the Braids, so that's interesting. We have 2 soul transfers. Like I kept saying, the extra artifacts in here is going to be pretty important. We're creating artifacts with the blood tokens as well, so having artifacts with Bankbuster or Lookout and stuff like that, it's going to work wonders with these cards where you want both enchantments and artifacts on the board, which I don't think it's going to be difficult in this deck at all. So if you do control an artifact and an enchantment, then you get to choose both of these, which is really good. So you can exile target creature or planeswalker, nice, and return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, which of course can come in handy when you're getting rid of them to the Braids, just bringing back like a Bloodcaster to your hand that you got rid of and stuff like that. Sounds pretty cool. On the top end here, guys, we're stacked on the top end. Henrika Domnathi. I love this card so much. It's a 4-mana, 1/3 flying legendary vampire. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Each player sacrifices a creature. You draw a card and lose 1 life, or transform Henrika Domnathi transforms into the Infernal Seer, a 3/4 flying death touch lifelink for 1 in double black. Each creature you control with flying death touch and or lifelink gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So Henrika is a very powerful card. My guess is we don't see it too often because it's a 1/3 and cut down ruins so much, guys. Cut down hits too many creatures that are just so dang cool, huh? But yeah, Henrika is going to be a solid one. Hopefully it doesn't get cut down too much today. We have a couple Edgars in here. Charmed Groom. This is a 4-mana 4/4 other vampires you control get +1/+1. When Edgar Charmed Groom dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. It comes back as a legendary artifact, which is going to come in handy. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white and black vampire creature token with lifelink and put Bloodline counter on Edgar Markov's coffin. Then, if there are 3 or more Bloodline counters on it, remove those counters and transform it so it transforms back into Edgar. So, a very sticky card. It sticks on the board, you know what I mean? So, it's going to be hard for the opponents to remove sometimes unless they have that exile removal like the soul transfer or something. Roadside Reliquary seemed like a must-have in this deck as we have to figure out a way to keep up with mid-range decks, and so this helps us draw. Like I said, it's going to be pretty easy to have enchantments and artifacts on this board. A mana base that I thought about for a long while, so hopefully I landed on something here, an Abandoned Mire and a Seat of the Empire. I don't think the mana base is going to hold us up at all. We're really just splashing the green for the kicker cost on Arena and the bottom ability on the Toad Rider as well. So honorable mentions, guys. Life of Toshiro almost made the list. Welcoming Vampire also almost made the list. Gloom Shrieker could be pretty cool in here, but it's just more green and more ways for the mana base to not work in our favor. So Sorin almost made the list, but I think we're already pretty stacked on the 4 drops in here. And Plaza of Heroes I thought about for a little bit, but obviously did not make the cut. And we don't have, like, you know, Plaza of Heroes can't cast the Swooping Lookout or the Okiba Reckoner raid, so unless you had the Edgar down, which, no Plaza this time. So the whole point of the deck, guys, is to just benefit by having enchantments and playing enchantments, and then benefit by having artifacts on the board as well, and then just kind of, I don't want to say going wide with vampires, but just stacking your board with vampires and doing a thing that way, and then hopefully using Stronghold Arena to just keep on stocking up your hand and keep on playing out those nice beef vampires when it comes time, you know? That's kind of it. It should honestly be a simple one, even though there's a lot packed in here that we don't see too often and a lot of cards that I don't play with too often. I think it's going to be a relatively easy deck to pilot, but yeah, it took me a while to go over this one. I apologize, guys. Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. Okay, what am I expecting from the first, what am I expecting from the deck overall? Um, I think, I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I don't know if I succeeded the challenge, honestly, because we have to actually have the Stronghold be a good card. Like, we can't just win because our vampires are decent cards. We actually have to get Stronghold on the board and show that it's doing a thing in here, you know? Okay, I'll get the Glade down. Nothing to do on our turn 1 is completely fine. Oh, right up against some Selesnya Toxic. Woohoo, this could be really bad. They don't swing with the Skrell because they want to protect the Rot Priest. That actually works out in our favor pretty well. Just not taking extra poison. Because it's not like we had 2-mana removal that turn anyway, so... Yeah, the big thing here is actually going to be getting to the middle of the game. And then hopefully getting enough damage through overall. They can... Oh, they can pay 2, have the Rot Priest swing in. No, they're just going to keep the protection open. Yeah, we'll take the 1. We're looking at the 1 poison, of course. We're not looking at the actual health here. Actually, a pretty terrible deck for us to go up against first, since we do have all that life gain in here. It's a pretty bad one, guys. It's a pretty bad one to go up against. We have to anticipate this forest is protection too. I guess they would want to double down on protection in case we had like a cut down and a go for the throat on our turn. And we got to keep up pace somehow, so let's start getting that damage through. Edgar's a great drop for next turn. Buffing the Bloodcaster is great. We actually don't have an enchantment for the Toad Rider, but it's definitely a way to plug in some extra damage if we do top deck an enchantment here. Yeah, getting it to a 3-4. I guess we want to keep Toad Rider. Remember, Skrell can't block. Oh, but that got Vigilance from the Homestead Courage. It's not good. Not good news, guys. Hopefully, I mean, Edgar blocks well regardless, but hopefully we don't just straight up die next turn or anything ridiculous. Can't swim with Toad Rider because Rot Priest is a ridiculous blocker right now. They are down to 12 though, so we might be able to get there. I have my doubts, I have my concerns, but we actually might be able to get there. I think Vraan and the Bloodcaster is huge, so if we can survive the turn. Oh man. Yeah, we have to survive next turn too though, don't we? Double block Rot Priest and they can just buff it, protect it. They could go Skrell. Yeah, they're gonna actually get this through for 2 extra poison, up to 7 poison. So we might actually... Nope. They pass it. Okay. Well, if we can successfully hit this Rot Priest, we just full swing for 10 damage. But I don't think it's going to work. I think the Rot Priest is going to end up blocking here. And then we'll just get more poison too. 1 second, opponent. I am gonna think about this, because if we just skip the concept of Rot Priest, of trying to take it out, we could play Vraan and the Bloodcaster and full swing. See where they block. They kill one of our creatures, probably Toad Rider. Take 2, gain 2. I don't think there's a way through, and I think this is gonna end up being protection. So I'm gonna play Vraan. I'm going to play Bloodcaster for the sake of getting more blood tokens when one of our creatures die. And we're going to swing. It's too bad we didn't end up seeing one of our enchantments, because that could have been huge. Getting that extra toad down would have just been insane. They're down to 1, and honestly, overall, this was a pretty good game. But yeah, it is unfortunately over. Just by 1 turn, though. We could have tried the soul transfer, but when it comes down to it... Oh! Oh, yeah. Oh no! Opponent! Are you... Oh no! I'll take the victory, buddy. Thank you. Because they couldn't go Homestead Courage because the Brushland was going to do 1 damage, so they couldn't do that. They couldn't pay the 1 for the Skrell, or the 2 for the Skrell because they were at 1, so they couldn't get the Rot Priest through. They didn't have protection for Rot Priest, so the Soul Transfer could have hit it last turn and we could have swung in. Because, yeah, it needed to be like a Tameo Safekeeping or a Tyvar Stand, and then the Rot Priest. Wait a minute. Why did I think we were dead there for sure? Because we had blockers for the Rot Priest, and they couldn't do the Skrelv without seeing an untapped white source, which they just didn't have. I don't know. My brain was thoroughly convinced. I mean, that really tells you how powerful Selesnya Toxic is, because it really does constantly come down to, oh, we, like, next turn we're dead regardless. So, yeah, nice. We just plugged in that damage, and their Brushland wrapped up that game for us because they didn't see a white source that didn't do damage to them. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. Geez. Okay, we have Stronghold. We don't have a green source. Doesn't matter. Don't even think twice about the green source when it comes down to keeping a hand, because it's just a splash. It is completely unnecessary. Reckoner Raid. It's a good hand, guys. I'd rather get Toad Rider down before the Stronghold Arena. Some mono red means Bloodcaster is going to get burnt pretty early on here, and I wouldn't mind going and picking the arena as much as possible. Bankbuster's pretty good. It's going to be Bloodcaster, though, just in case. I mean, any burn that hits our creatures instead of our face is going to be pretty good, probably. Because I'm assuming this is going to be just straight up normal mono red aggro, but could be like mono red mid-range, too. We're hoping to see more land off the top. Play with fire. Okay. Yeah, they have the Foundry too, so I doubt it's mono red mid-range. Just not seeing their creatures right now. What? Why'd you leave, opponent? Did they just not see land? What is happening, guys? Okay, you know what? I'll take the victory. I'm a little sad we didn't get to play with Stronghold, but I would have loved to play that one out. I don't exactly know what the concede was for at all. Like, we were going to get a blood token. They didn't know that we didn't have... Oh, Arcane Bombardment. Cool. That must be what these 40 gems are, because I already got the 4 bombardments. Anyways, they didn't know we didn't have a 3rd mana. I guess they just figured they had too slow of a hand, right? It didn't look like they were going to play another red source, so we're going to get a blood token. I don't know. I would have loved to play that one out, but yeah. Hey, Arena's in hand again. Okay, good hand, good hand. Probably start with Reckoner Raid here. Swooping Lookout could also be all right. We could just start swinging in with that, but I think it's Reckoner Raid. The sooner that flips, the better. One of the reasons to keep Reckoner Raid in hand, too, is if we do see the Toad Rider, then having those extra enchantments in hand is important to actually generate the Toad. But we have the Arena here, too, so... And I will take the 1 for Lookout, and maybe kick the Stronghold Arena next turn for the white source here, and then swing with Lookout. Aw, they cut down Lookout right away. I was going to say, getting a draw right away on Arena would be really good, but first you have to have the creatures stick on the board. Oh, good, it's a tap land. Falkenrath Forebearer. Not bad. I'll play that instead of the Stronghold Arena for the turn. It's just another flying creature that has potential. It's like another cut down. Okay, we get to keep the Road Captain for now, so maybe Arena kicked next turn. And then swing with Road Captain and get a draw. Or not. Because now we're not going to be dealing combat damage. Okay, okay. Brushland is a good draw because we actually get to get Charmed Groom down. And we get to double kick the arena for life. Not like we need the life, but there's no point in keeping Road Captain back. There's no point in swinging either, except for the fact that I like attacking with my creatures. So technically, Soul Transfer does hit the Jace, which we could do. Swing with Edgar. They don't have double white, so it's not Wandering Emperor. It's probably just spot removal for Edgar, though, isn't it? We don't need to kick this, so we just play it as a 2-mana card and have 3 mana open for the Soul Transfer. We don't need the life, is the thing. The big reason to kick the arena is whenever you're up against aggro decks. And so it's completely unnecessary here. Soul Transfer is going to try to take care of the Jace, and we swing it face, and I guess I'll keep the Road Captain back this time, since we're attacking with Edgar, and it doesn't do anything. Okay. Hopefully we don't take too much damage from the arena's ability, but let's see. Take action. Land. I don't mind seeing land off the top. It's probably a counter spell then. Might still be worth trying. Because if they do counter this, we might draw something a little better. And maybe it won't be spot removal then. Alright, let's take this Jace out of the equation. Nice. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't know if it was necessary though, too, at the same time. Not sure if it was necessary. This is a lot of land. See, having that artifact on the lookout is so important because that Roadside Reliquary would be able to actually draw us 2 cards. However, if they do spot remove the Edgar and it's not an exile, we do get the Coffin. Another arena. I think we can successfully play this. I am going to go, we can kick it once, have 3 mana open. 1, 2, how do I want to kick this? Like that, maybe? So we don't take damage? And we could double kick it, gain 6, but I don't know if that's necessary, and I'd rather play multiple things on the same turn. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of 3 mana cards in the deck. Like if we see a Toad Rider, I'd rather play a Toad Rider this turn over gaining extra life. But gaining a little life is great. Alright, let's see if they have that Wandering Emperor. They sure do. They sure do, guys. Alright, so unfortunately Edgar is out of the equation, and we draw twice on Stronghold Arena, which is so good. I'm telling you what, man. That helps us keep up pace terrifically. Mana, sure. Okay, nice. Bloodcaster is a great draw. Okay, we're back down to 20. Hopefully this Stronghold Arena can help us just keep up all around. It looks like some Esper control then.
I've got new moves to teach you.
Yeah, this is too much mana for sure, and it really sucks not having an artifact on the board, and it that the Wandering Emperor happens to be an exile removal that they needed for the Edgar. Gonna go Menace to the Emperor and Bloodcaster to the face. Since they plus the Emperor, it's probably not a second Wandering Emperor, right? However, if we double that Emperor, then their spot removal in hand, they would need 2 pieces of spot removal, right? So we get a blood token, that's good news. At least it wasn't more exile, right? They did have double. They did have the double that they needed. Roadside Reliquary draws twice for us. We could do that now. See what we draw, see what we see. Gift of Fangs, okay. It's a lot of land. I'm gonna filter. I don't know what we could possibly see for the Road Captain, but it just seems right to do it right now. You know what I mean? You can't even counter the Void Rend or anything fancy, but Just felt like a thing I should do, you know? We could have kept the blood token back in case we ever ended up getting more than one. Eventually bringing Forebearer back would be really good. Yeah, so 2 cut downs, a go for the throw, avoid Rend, a Wandering Emperor. I don't know if we make a comeback here, but we could. We have a lot of ways to drain the opponent's life. First of all, Henrika is a really good draw. It's a really good draw. Any creature, really, but I guess cut down number 3 could be in the opponent's hand. We transform the Henrika. I think we go for the draw on the Henrika. Is it really? It's gonna be a go for the throat. Huh. Well, not much we could do against that, guys. That is a lot of spot removal, man. Esper Control is gonna get this one, I think. We need a creature to actually stick on the board for Arena to be any good. I think all the extra flyers and everything is terrific, but Road Captain. Excuse me, guys. Need to get a drink of water. We might as well full kick this. We do take 1 damage, but then gain, I guess, 5 total there. Well, 6 total, but, you know, we took the 1. Gift of Fangs does get rid of the Samurai before they give it a counter. Sure, I probably should have done that before playing the Stronghold Arena, but I think this is fine too. Nice. The Gift of Fangs acting a little bit like removal there. Go for the -1. We have Menace on the Road Captain, which does swing at that Emperor. Okay, Bankbuster draw. We really need the Stronghold Arena to help us keep up pace here, but keeping a creature on the board has proven to be very difficult. We're gonna swing at face for the hopes of drawing. Just get 2 to face, and it's another Wandering Emperor. Oh no, guys. Oh no. Oh no. Hey, you know something? If it wasn't a Wandering Emperor, we should have played Bloodcaster before we swung. I guess just on the stack before Bloodcaster hits, they would have played another piece of spot removal, but if it was like a 3rd go for the throat or something, we would want Bloodcaster on the board. Yeah, we'll see if Bloodcaster can survive. At least it has flying, so they've been able to draw so much, though. I think this is going to be the opponents. I think it's been leaning towards them for a little while now. Farewell! No! Oh. Go 1 more draw just for the sake of seeing what's on top, and they might actually find their win condition too. But then we're gonna hop into the next one, guys. We have to prove that Stronghold Arena can do a thing. Man, Bloodcaster, that just tempts me to actually stick around, but I can only imagine that it's gonna be more spot removal then. Oh, especially since Memory Deluge can find more too. And then we can't really do anything with the Bloodcaster since they exiled all of our Stronghold Arenas as well. Yeah, no, this is the opponents. I really do want to see what's on top of my deck, though. As silly as that is. Another Bankbuster. They still have 6 mana open, too. Wow, Bankbuster of our own is actually terrific. Well, we'll swing at Wandering Emperor. See if it actually lands. Go for the throat number 3. Get a blood token, right? Bankbuster of our own. Draw. Find an Edgar. Nope. Find a land. You know what? Get out of here, blood token. Let's see if we actually find something to play, like another creature. Actually, all the extra filtering and everything has been terrific so far. I think going up against Removal Tribal is always going to be really tough regardless, and the Farewell hitting was just absolutely disgusting too. Memory Deluge probably did a lot for them as well, just being able to find more. Okay, draw on Bankbuster, which we should be using our swamps. I'm just going like auto tap, which isn't the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and give this to them. This is gonna take too long to actually play out, and I don't think there's actually gonna be a way through. I don't think so. Let's drop them a GG's and get into the next one because I want to get as many games in as possible. Like, I guess, yeah, next turn, Bankbuster was going to be able to crew itself up. We were going to get a treasure token. We were drawing a lot of land there, too. Not enough blood tokens to ever bring the Forebearer back because everything was dying before our Bloodcasters stuck around, you know what I mean? I don't want to, like, drag you guys through a miserable control match until, like, the opponent was actually able to wrap it up either, though. Okay, not a bad hand, guys. Not a bad hand. I like the Strongholds. I like the Flying Bloodcasters. The Gift of Fangs is fine. Not a bad one. We'll go ahead and start with the Glade then. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll go Swamp into Bloodcaster. I guess say goodbye to Bloodcaster, right? They have 2 open Swamp over there. That's fine. If it's just some spot removal, we'll get a blood token for it. And Forebearer. It's a good draw. That's good. Oh, no removal? Oh, there it is. Infernal Grasp. Okay. So we got our blood token. Brushland, Forebearer's fine. Honestly, like Bloodcaster, Gift of Fangs wouldn't be great. They have 3 open Swamp and they could go cut down on Bloodcaster before the Gift of Fangs hits. So just going to be Forebearer, and maybe we'll see our 4th land too, and then start playing some of our more powerful vampires. And then at that point, that's when we start to consider Stronghold after we have established some good flying vampires on the board. It is, like I said while going over the deck, I know it took me forever to go over the deck, but I said it at the very end, I think it's going to be a relatively easy deck to run, and it is. It totally is. Okay, Seat of the Empire. So, Shieldred's terrible for us, but it's not like... I don't think that's worst case scenario. Henrika could actually deal with that, but... it might just be Edgar. Is that even right? Is it? Maybe it was Henrika, because then Stronghold comes down next turn and we could full kick it. And then fly in with Henrika, but we have to just anticipate more spot removal too. Because they didn't play a single cut down yet. We could block there, but if there's a chance that it's not spot removal... Okay, Obliterator is really, really, really bad. We need to see our exile removal for that. Braids is fine, sure. If we go Henrika, they sacrifice Shieldred because Obliterator's gonna wrap up this game. This flips into the Coffin, though. We go Bloodcaster. Man, I don't even know where to begin. I really don't. Because Henrika and then sacrifice... Because if we transform, at least a cut down doesn't hit it. And then we can still... I guess we'll go Sacrifice. I like how I just got done saying it's a relatively easy deck to run. And then I'm stuck with some really tough decisions right after I say that. That's a little funny. Yeah, so Coffin comes out, and these little guys have lifelink too, and so when Henrika flips, like, might just be a different ball game. If they find their 3rd piece of spot removal, though, it's going to be another Infernal Grasp, actually. Wow. Down to 8. We can gain 6 on the arena. I think we could totally get there, guys. Gift of Fangs is better if they had smaller creatures, but... yeah, some better spot removal would be really nice. It's a great chump blocker. I think we're just going to kick this twice. Get this down. We now have an enchantment and an artifact on the board. Up to 12. Is this going to be more spot removal, guys? This is This is being held. No, it was not. I guess they don't necessarily want to cut down a 1/1 vampire, except swinging with Shieldred's really strong. Invoke Despair. My arena! We don't take as much damage. That's actually not that bad, I guess. Hopefully they didn't draw Invoke Despair number 2 off of that one draw, though. Okay, we're down to 4, and we are in some serious trouble, guys. We are in some serious trouble. We could go ahead and go Gift of Fangs on Shieldred. And make it so that way one of our toads can block it successfully. It does still have Death Touch, though, and they honestly, they don't even want to swing this Shieldred. They want to be able to just let Shieldred wrap up the game. So, guys, Stronghold Arena off the top would be terrific. More life gain would be so good. Although they could just have their second Invoke Despair, too. Stop it. Stop it, opponent. Oh, we're going down to 1. Guys, Stronghold Arena off the top. I'm telling you. That could be so good because it's an enchantment. We would gain 1 off of this, too. Edgar's about to flip. We're going to have lifelink 2 on the Forebearer. They take the Forebearer. I meant on this. Okay. Okay, we didn't find spot removal. That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. We did need to see that. Shieldred just being a big old pain in the butt. We could look for it with the blood token. We could. I am thinking, opponent. So if we go... We're going to want to swing with the Vampire because we need to gain the 2 because we could pass it, then they just pass it back and Shieldred wraps up the game. Braids doesn't do too much here unless we... Even if we gain the 2, they still have the Trespasser swing, which still gets a little bit. So I guess the best bet is to ditch the, I guess the Braids, right? See what we see. Oh, it still kills us. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, we obviously filtering through the deck activates the Shieldred too. I was not thinking about that at all, obviously. Oopsie daisies, doesn't matter. There was no great way there. Here's what could have happened instead, right? We could have went Gift of Fangs onto the Vampire, bring it up to a 4/4. We would have gained 1 on the Frog and then swung with the 4/4 and gained 4 there. Wow, actually, we might actually still be in that game had I done that. Oh no, guys, I butchered that one. I apologize. That was the line of play. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, we definitely didn't want to draw there, and the Gift of Fangs onto that lifelink. Yeah, we might. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Also, I think that showcased the power of Stronghold Arena in that match too, so I'm actually a little bit glad about that. No Black Source, definite mulligan, very slow hand too, and ooh, buddy, that is bad. Eee. Alright, we'll keep it, I guess, and send the Edgar because no guaranteed white source, but wow. Bad hands, bad hands. There we go. At least we have our white source now, but now I feel bad because we got rid of Edgar. Oh, don't be more control. Oh, opponent, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, opponent, please. Been seeing a lot of Esper control, and it is very painful. Wedding announcement? Okay, it might be Esper Legends then, which isn't... It's still a tough one, but it isn't as much of a pain. 2 Henrikas is totally fine. Oh man, I can't believe, like, we totally could have got there in that last game. We didn't know what was in the opponent's hand, though. They could have had another Invoke Despair. We were going to take 1 from the swing on their Trespasser. We were going to take 2 when we drew off of the Shieldred. But overall, we would have gained 5, so we would have been to 3. I guess, yeah, like another Invoke Despair would have wrapped it up either way. Right? Because I don't think we had an extra enchantment on the board. Oh, actually, yeah, the Gift of Fangs that was attached to the Shieldred. Huh. Well, we double block here, but then, so one's getting through. Henrika's great. Let's do this, guys. Let's double kick the arena. Lose 1, lose 2, gain 6. Swing. If they double block Road Captain, that's fine. Toad Rider gets through, we take a little bit of damage and draw off of the arena. That also works. We get to keep Road Captain around. Brushland off the top. Okay. Okay. I love the Henrika play next turn. Any enchantments off the top of the deck would be great too. I'm going to be thinking about that last game all night, guys. I can't believe I could have just played the Gift of Fangs and then I ended up drawing to our demise. Sunset Revelry. Now, this is not Esper Legends. This is... Restoration's interesting. Esper Go Wide, I suppose. The Toad Rider's going to get through here. I guess Brushland is fine. I don't really want to sacrifice off of Henrika. We could draw, or we could just see what we see on the arena first. And maybe go Bankbuster this turn. Alright, this is what we're going to do. We'll have 3 mana open. So it's not going to be Henrika. We're going to swing with our toads. See what we see off the top. Nice. Nice. That is terrific, guys. I think Bloodcaster over Bankbuster. Ooh, this might be a board wipe style deck. I changed my mind. We're actually going to go Bankbuster. Playing Bloodcaster just to get 1 blood token. Because it's whenever Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token, we would get 3, I guess, because this is a token. Not worth it. I think Bankbuster was a better bet there. We'll take this damage. They can't block the toads anyways, so that's why they decide to swing. But Menace on the Road Captain's terrific. And we can't crew up the Bankbuster without one of these, and we don't want to swing into the Restoration either. Guess we just draw off of Arena again, right? Yeah. Yeah, the sacrifice on Henrika. I'd rather flip the Henrika this turn, maybe. Keep the Abandoned Mire in hand. If we flip this, it's probably going to be some removal for it, but I think that's what I'd rather do. Taking 1 here. We flip it. It's a great blocker. It's a 3/4 lifelink, so... Could draw too. I think we transform. It's just a solid blocker, and we can actually power up Bank, but no, we can't. Architect of Restoration is a 4/5 right now. We could swing at this too. We are getting pretty low, but you know what? I'm going for it. We're going all in, guys. The Menace gets through. All right. Honestly, I'm afraid to take this damage, but I'm gonna do it. Only 2, okay. Alright, they want to remove this turn so we can't power up Bankbuster as an emergency blocker next turn. Wandering Emperor, why? Wandering Emperor, why? They might want to just make a token. They might, yeah. That might be good. Make a token, remove Henrika on our turn, we power up Bankbuster, we only have 1 blocker, and we're at 12. Oh, they're going to go counter on the Architect. Probably getting close to forcing a block on the Architect here. Yeah, go wide, Esper. Cool one, I guess. At least it's not just straight up Esper control. Still looks brutal, though. It's rocking a lot of powerful cards. I think the best line of play there to be safe was to not take any damage off of Stronghold Arena. But there's a good chance we could have seen like another land there too. They're at 6, so they do want to take care of something over here. Ghoulish Procession does gain us a life off of the Kaimi frog. And removal for the Henrika is worst case scenario for us, but we have to expect it. We have to anticipate that for sure. What are they going to do with this, I wonder? I wonder what they're going to do with this.
I fight for the entire multiverse.
Really? They go for the -4. Wow. They keep their Architect. They keep my Road Captain. We can't power up Bankbuster now because that would be really bad. We would just lose the Bankbuster. Oh, they actually let me keep the frog. Huh. Okay. Create a 2/2. Yeah, Eternal Wanderer is really bad because it acts as a perfect board wipe for the opponent where Architect can just build up their board state again. And the other Wandering Emperor can help build up their board state too. Ah, it didn't matter which one they let us keep. They were planning to -2 that. Okay. Well then. Pretty tough stuff, guys. Pretty tough stuff. It's too bad we didn't have this down. 2, 3, 4. Bankbuster just doesn't do a lot, man. Doesn't do a lot right now. We could draw for that first. Wouldn't mind getting Reckoner Raid down. Gain a little bit of life there, but I think we're dead. How do you guys feel? I think we're dead. We could play Bloodcaster, and then Henrika, sacrifice Bloodcaster, get a blood token, they sacrifice their spirit, then we... No, not a lot of great stuff there either. I guess we go Reckoner Raid to get a life. Actually, maybe we should have drawn off of Bankbuster first, because we'll have 3. We don't want to take the extra one. No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll take the 1 damage that we just gained, and we'll get the Ghoulish Procession down. I don't think there's a great way through, and I think the best thing that we could have done there was get Henrika and flip it, but we have to anticipate spot removal from the opponent's hand there as well. Dang, tough game, tough game. Overall, I think the deck performed relatively all right, and I kind of stick to it as well, where I said it's a relatively easy deck to run. I stick to that. I think it is. Like, sure, we're being stuck with a lot of tough decisions right now, but overall, it just kind of, it does its thing. It does its own thing, and you play the stuff out. Oh, how did they... Oh, yeah, it didn't matter what we did. The Eternal Wanderer's 0 ability... Hold up, wait, yeah, let me see. No, the +1 ability. Oh my goodness, this card's ridiculous. Yeah, they just straight up exile the creature and then swing in for game. So I guess Bloodcaster, Henrika, flip Henrika, they would have exiled, that we would have had a chump blocker, but would that have been worth it? No, not really. I don't think so. Overall, I could have played this out a lot better. I would say, I think. Edgar's great, Henrika's great. I could see dropping down to 2 Henrikas, that's totally fine. However, I still think it's going to be a terrific addition overall in the build. If you drop that 1 Henrika, what do you want to go up? Yep, spot removal. In classic Red Cat fashion, I do not have a lot of spot removal in here. We have the Gift of Fangs and the Soul Transfer, and it's not enough, of course. Could also ditch the Ghoulish Procession, as you guys saw in that last match. Just a couple go for the throats can go a long way, huh? Oh. So there's our spot removal, which Gift of Fangs doesn't work on everything, of course. So if we ditch a single Henrika and a Ghoulish Procession, I would go up 2, go for the throats, and it's going to go a long way. Now we could totally just start adding more spot removal before I sit down to record. I could do that, but I mean, what's the fun in that, huh? Then I won't have too much to talk about in the final thoughts, right? I do think having the Ghoulish Procession in here, it could have done more than what we saw it do today. We only saw it in that last game, and it happened to just be not a great draw because we were on the run for sure. There were a few things in that last game too where maybe I should have held stuff back. There could have been a few different ways to actually stay in that game 1 or 2 extra turns. I think it was going to lean towards the opponent heavily after they established their 2 Planeswalkers, and there wasn't too much we could do against those 2 Planeswalkers. I think that new Eternal Wanderer card looks absolutely disgusting. That card looks nasty, guys, and it is a very scary one to go up against, so we might want to start planning how we build our decks around that. I haven't been seeing it too much, though, and that is because we're seeing a lot more of aggressive decks, and so everyone's just packing really early spot removal that you have to play around, and cards like Voldaren Bloodcaster kind of sort of do that, giving you a little bit of benefit off the blood tokens, which you can use for the Forebear, you can use to filter through your hand as you're flooding out. Cards like Vraan help you kind of get a little bit more when your creatures die, I guess, right? And I love that it's a vampire, so it works well with the Edgar. Actually, Edgar was so good, I could actually see dropping that Henrika and going up the third Edgar. I could, because you don't mind seeing multiple of these either. If you have one on the board and you really want to play the other one, you can play the other one and have it turn into the coffin right away. Because they're legendary, you'd have to get rid of one, so I think that would be cool too. But Henrika's so good, man. And the lifelink is so good against mono red too, so. But I think we could safely drop the Ghoulish Procession. And yeah, the Swooping Lookout, while it does fit for, like, we need the artifacts sometimes for the soul transfer, and we saw Roadside Reliquary actually draw us 2 cards today, which was really good, huh? Well, the Swooping Lookout does work for all of that, and it works because it has flying, so that little bit of evasion, flying over the opponent's head, drawing cards off the Stronghold Arena, it fits all of that. But could we drop down to like 1 or 2 of these and then go up even more spot removal? Yeah, probably. And I think the more spot removal you pack in here, the more you are leaning heavier and heavier into the mid-range, where we did see in that one match, the deck does know how to pile a significant amount of damage through early on, especially as you're flying on in, and then on turn 4 or 5, you drop a Vraan, and now every time the opponent spot removes something, they're taking even more damage, and then you're gaining the blood tokens, and yeah, you're just swinging in for a ton of damage, and Toad Rider doing a ton of damage too, so I like it, guys. I like the build a lot. I think we could have seen it do a little bit more today, but I gotta be 100%. Like, I could have just played it out so much better. That being said, like I said in the last game, I still stick to what I said. I do think it's a relatively easy deck to play. I don't think it's going to be too difficult overall. I mean, maybe had I had a little bit more practice too, but yeah. Either way, hey, if you made it this far into the video, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.